A block of ice so transparent you can see through hundreds of meters is buried deep beneath Antarctica. A laboratory half a mile underground where absolute silence is the only requirement. A 27-kilometer machine creating collisions smaller than an atom to search for particles never seen before. These three places were all built not to see, but to listen to things that cannot be heard. When we eliminate all the noise of civilization, what are we really listening to? Perhaps the universe is not silent. It is just that we have never been still enough to hear it. What you are about to see will change how you understand silence. A metal tower rises in the middle of the endless white of Antarctica. Tangled blue and red pipes, like blood vessels against the snow. Cranes and warehouses scattered, lonely under a steel-gray sky. It looks like a forgotten industrial outpost at the edge of the world. But beneath your feet right now, something is happening. How can a block of pure ice kilometers thick be a telescope? Ice cube does not see light. It sees ghost particles called neutrinos. Particles with almost no mass, flying through everything, through rock, through metal, through your body, without leaving a trace. Trillions of them are passing through you every second. But sometimes, extremely rarely, a neutrino strikes an atom in the ice. At that moment, it creates a faint blue light, a ghostly flash that only sensors buried deep inside the ice can catch. Scientists have drilled 86 holes 2,500 meters deep into the Antarctic ice, dropping strings of sensors down there, turning an entire cubic kilometer of ice into the world's largest particle detector. But there is one thing they still do not fully understand. The exact origin of the highest energy neutrinos, particles coming from outside our galaxy, remains an unanswered question. We know they exist, but we do not know exactly what created them. Ice Cube is a poem about patience. Humans built this at the end of the world, not to search, but to wait, waiting for unpredictable signals from distant cosmic explosions. To hear the universe, we must go to a place where there is no sound at all. Artificial light inside a long, endless concrete tunnel, curving along the circumference of a giant circle. Giant magnet tubes painted blue and red lie one after another, so large that a person standing next to them looks like a tiny dot. This is not a building. This is a 27-kilometer circle, buried 100 meters underground, stretching across the borders of two countries. Why do we need such a large machine to search for things smaller than an atom? You are standing in a 27-kilometer tunnel. Enough to walk from morning until night without seeing an end. The magnet tubes beside you are 3 times taller than you. 30,000 times heavier than you. What do you think this machine is for? Drilling for oil? Launching rockets? Building bridges? No, this machine is used to find the smallest thing humanity has ever searched for. Smaller than an atom, or smaller than a nucleus, or smaller than a proton. So small that if an atom were the size of the Earth, what they are looking for would only be the size of a grain of dust. And to find something that small, they do something crazy. They create the largest artificial explosion ever. Inside this tunnel, particles are accelerated to 99.9999% the speed of light. When they collide, the temperature at the point of collision is 100,000 times hotter than the core of the sun. In 2012, they found what they were looking for: the Higgs boson, the particle that gives mass to everything. You think that is the end? That is just the beginning of the confusion. Because they discovered that everything we have ever seen, every star, every planet, every galaxy, only makes up 5% of the universe. The other 95%, nobody knows what it is. They call it dark matter and dark energy. But in reality, those names are just a way of saying, we don't know. The greatest machine in human history has just told us that we know nothing at all. And the most terrifying thing, this tunnel is still running. They are still colliding particles. We're still hoping. Because who knows, in a small explosion in Switzerland, we might accidentally open the first door into what occupies 95% of the universe. Or perhaps, there is a door that should not be opened. A heavy steel door opens inside an old iron mine in Minnesota. Behind it, a completely different world. Narrow corridors carved into ancient rock, laboratories so clean they are sterile, and detectors so sensitive that a single grain of dust could ruin the entire experiment. You are half a mile deep underground. And the reason you are here is not to find something in the rock. You are here to hide from the universe. For what on the surface of the Earth is so dangerous that we need to bury ourselves this deep to avoid it? The answer is everything. Every second, the surface of our planet is bombarded by cosmic rays, high-energy particles from space. They create a chaotic symphony of noise, drowning out the faintest signals that scientists are trying to listen to. The Sudan laboratory is a shield. Half a mile of rock above absorbs almost all cosmic rays, creating one of the quietest environments on the planet. Only in that absolute stillness can the detectors listen to signals that barely exist. Think about this. They are trying to catch something no one has ever seen, a particle of dark matter. They believe that if it exists, it will occasionally collide with a germanium atom by chance. One atom. Just one. And they have built a machine so sensitive it can feel that touch. Like you could feel a mosquito landing on your shoulder from a kilometer away. And they have been waiting for decades. Still nothing. The silence here is almost absolute. But it is precisely in that silence that a truth is gradually unfolding. If dark matter does not exist the way we think it does, then our entire understanding of the universe might need to be rewritten. Or a turquoise oasis in the middle of the arid Mojave Desert. But as you come closer, you realize it is not a mirage. It is 3 giant concrete towers, over 150 meters tall, standing tall in the middle of a circle of 300,000 mirrors. Each mirror, as wide as a garage door, is moving in unison. They do not reflect your image. They track a single thing: the sun. Why is a power plant on the list of the most secret research stations? Because what happens on top of these towers is so unbelievable, it feels more like an experiment on the limits of physics than a power plant. All 300,000 mirrors focus sunlight onto a single point on top of the tower, a receiver containing molten salt. The temperature at that point can exceed 500 degrees Celsius. The concentrated light is so intense that it creates a blinding column of light visible from tens of kilometers away. Birds flying through the beam are incinerated instantly. The air around the top of the tower glows like plasma. But what truly makes this place a laboratory is the question it poses. We have harnessed the energy of the sun on an unprecedented scale. But can we control that power? Can this technology be scaled up to power entire cities? Or are we touching something beyond our control? Every day, as the sun rises over the desert, 300,000 mirrors wake up in unison. They are not just collecting energy. They are testing an idea that humanity can touch a star without being burned. From above, it looks like a giant metal worm lying on the back of Antarctica. Steel legs rise out of the ice, lifting the entire structure off the ground. It was not built on the ice. It was designed to climb on top of the ice itself. This is Neumayer Station 3. And it exists to do one thing that no other structure on Earth has to do. It must constantly flee from the very ground beneath its feet. How can a building survive in a place where the ground itself is trying to bury it? Antarctica never stops moving. Snow falls continuously, compressing into ice, and the entire continent slowly flows into the sea. A normal research station would be buried within a few years. Neumayer 3 solves this by standing on hydraulic legs. Every year, as snow accumulates, engineers raise the entire station higher. The entire 2,300-ton building is lifted like a toy. Inside, scientists study things that cannot be studied anywhere else. They measure changes in Earth's magnetic field, track chemical reactions in the permafrost, and listen to sounds beneath the frozen sea. But the real question this place poses is not about science. It is about the limits of adaptation. Humans have built a home in a place where the home must constantly move just to avoid being wiped out. We have found a way to exist in an environment designed to reject any permanent presence. Neumayer 3 is proof of a strange truth. Sometimes, to stand still, you must constantly move. The calm surface of the ocean off the coast of Florida. Gentle waves under the tropical sun. But beneath the water, a yellow cylindrical metal structure rests on the seabed, nearly 20 meters from the surface. This is Aquarius. And the people inside it are not just visiting the ocean floor. They live there. How can a human live at the bottom of the ocean, not for a few hours, but for days, weeks, in a metal box crushed by pressure enough to collapse a tank? The scientists in Aquarius cannot simply swim to the surface whenever they want. They must undergo hours of decompression to avoid decompression sickness. Their bodies are saturated with nitrogen. They are trapped, voluntarily, in a completely different world. This environment allows them to do what is impossible from the surface. They can dive for hours every day, studying coral reefs, tracking fish behavior, and observing changes in the ecosystem without being limited by time. But there is one thing they cannot explain. After days under the sea, some scientists report changes in perception. Dreams become more vivid. The sense of time is distorted. As if the human brain, when cut off from the natural day-night cycle and surrounded by immense pressure, begins to function in a different way. Aquarius is not just an ocean research station. It is an experiment on humans themselves. We can survive under the sea, but do we truly belong there? Every mission here poses that question, and the answer is still being written beneath the waves. A forest canopy so dense that sunlight barely reaches the ground. Suspension bridges suspended between giant trees more than 30 meters above the forest floor. Wooden structures scattered across the branches like a village in the air. This is the Amazon Rainforest Research Institute. But what is being studied here is not something you can see, but an invisible world. How many life forms exist in a handful of soil from the Amazon forest floor? The answer truly humbles scientists. They do not know. In a single gram of soil, there could be tens of thousands of bacterial species never before classified. On a single tree, there could be hundreds of insect species that science has never recorded. Every leaf, every puddle, every patch of bark is a miniature universe. Researchers here are not just collecting specimens, they are trying to decode a language, the language of the most complex ecosystem on the planet. They record sounds that the human ear cannot hear. They analyze chemical compounds that plants use to communicate with each other underground. But time is running out. In a single gram of soil from this forest floor, there are more species of bacteria than there are bird species on the entire planet. On a single tree, scientists have found insect species that live nowhere else on Earth. Each leaf is a miniature planet. And the most extraordinary thing? We have only explored less than 1% of the life here. The remaining 99%, an entire universe, exists right now, right beneath our feet, waiting to be discovered. We are trying to read a book while its pages are burning. And the most terrifying thing, we don't even know how many pages thick that book is. For a small turquoise island surrounded by crystal clear water and coral reefs. From the air, it looks like paradise. But no one is allowed to set foot on it. Not because the government forbids it, but because the people living on the island have decided so with violence. Can a human community exist for tens of thousands of years without any contact with the rest of humanity? The Sentinelese have done just that. We do not know what they call themselves. We do not know their language. We do not know what they believe in, what stories they tell, or how they understand the world. Everything about them is an unanswered question. What we do know is, every time outsiders try to approach, they are attacked with arrows and spears. After the 2004 tsunami, a rescue helicopter flying over the island was shot at with arrows. They do not want our help. They do not want our presence. And we have decided to respect that. The island is an exclusion zone, not to protect us from them, but to protect them from pathogens that their bodies have no immunity against. A common cold could wipe out their entire civilization. The Sentinelese represent a truth we rarely face. In the middle of the 21st century, with satellites, the internet, and artificial intelligence, there still exists a group of people who completely do not know us. They do not know about countries, about the moon, about recorded history. They live in a parallel reality. And we protect that secret not by exploring it, but by keeping our distance. This is the ultimate laboratory of human isolation. And the question it poses is terrifying. If our entire civilization disappeared, could we survive like them? Or have we lost that primal knowledge forever? A lone main gate in the middle of the Nevada desert. A warning sign, use of deadly force authorized. Distant hills, where guards with binoculars monitor every movement. White pickup trucks parked on the hillsides, ready to pursue anyone who gets too close. This is the birthplace of myths. But the truth about Area 51 is stranger than any story about aliens. What was really tested in a place whose existence the United States government only acknowledged after more than half a century? Not alien spacecraft, but man-made machines, yet so strange that even the test pilots could not believe their eyes. Aircraft shaped unlike anything that had ever flown, strange angles, non-physical curves, radar-absorbing materials. This is where the SR-71 Blackbird first took off, an aircraft so fast that it expanded from heat during flight, and its body panels only fit together at Mach 3. This is where the F-117 Nighthawk was tested, a stealth aircraft with a shape so bizarre that conventional laws of aerodynamics said it could not fly. Residents living nearby looked up at the sky and saw black, triangular objects flying silently, making inexplicable turns. They reported UFOs, and they were not wrong. The things they saw were truly unidentifiable, but they were built by human hands. What makes Area 51 truly terrifying is not what has been revealed, but what is still hidden. What is being tested there right now will be just as strange and unbelievable as the Blackbird was in the 1960s. The real secret of Area 51 is not that aliens have come to Earth, but that we have become aliens to our own capabilities. We return to Antarctica. Back to the pure block of ice, to the sensors buried deep underground, to the absolute silence at the end of the world. But this time, we are not just looking at the machine. We are looking at what it found. On September 22, 2017, one of IceCube's sensors recorded a blue flash. A neutrino struck an atom in the ice. But this neutrino was unlike any neutrino ever detected before. Its energy was so high that scientists named it the God particle of neutrinos. They traced its path backward, and they found the origin. A supermassive black hole located in a galaxy 4 billion light-years away from us. A ghost particle with almost no mass traveled through the universe for 4 billion years, through galaxies, through stars, through everything, and ended its journey with a solitary flash deep inside the Antarctic ice. How can this be real? Every second, trillions of neutrinos pass through your body. Most come from the sun, but a few, extremely rarely, come from unimaginable places. From black holes swallowing matter, from supernova explosions, or from cosmic events we do not even have names for yet. And we built a machine in a place where there is nothing, just to listen to them. This is the pinnacle of wonder. Not because of the technology, not because of the science, but because of what it reveals about us. We are the species that sent a message into the universe, and when we received no answer, we decided to listen closer. We went to the end of the world, dug deep into the ice, and patiently waited for signals from distant galaxies. The universe is not silent at all. It is screaming messages through ghost particles, and they are passing through you right now. You just need to know how to listen. We started with a question. When we eliminate all the noise of civilization, what are we really listening to? Now we have the answer. We listen to ghost particles from other galaxies. We listen to the vibrations of dark matter that we cannot touch. We listen to the songs of whales at the bottom of the ocean. We listen to the silence of a civilization that has chosen not to speak to us. The 10 places we have just explored are not really about secret research stations. They are about the limits of human knowledge. Every concrete wall, every thick layer of ice, every warning fence was erected, not to hide the truth, but to protect our purest questions from a world that is too noisy. We went to places where there was nothing, and discovered that those places contain everything. We built the greatest machines in history, only to confirm that what we know is just a small island in an ocean of ignorance. But instead of despairing, we turned that ignorance into a driving force. That is the most courageous human act. Not declaring that we have all the answers, but building a cubic kilometer of ice in Antarctica and admitting that we still do not fully understand our own universe. The next time you look up at the night sky, remember this. At that very moment, in a frozen tunnel in Antarctica, a ghost particle from another galaxy just flashed and vanished. Someone saw it. And thanks to them, humanity knows a little more about its own infinity. Reality is stranger than any fiction. Humans understand less than they once thought. And the world, the universe, is still full of wonders, just waiting for those who are still enough to listen.